Welcome to Lose Weight, Feel Great. Amplify your energy and feel radiant again. Simple changes to create a healthier you and transform your life. My name is Joanna Peterson, and I created this summit to inspire people to reach their optimal health. I'm here today with Angela Atkins.
Hi, Joanna.
Hi. Welcome. Thank you for being here today.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me. It's my pleasure.
Can you tell me a little bit more about you and the work that you do?
Sure. I'm an integrative health and nutrition coach, a nutritional therapist. I work as an advanced clinical weight loss practitioner, and I'm also now a certified hypnotherapist. So I work in different modalities, but my primary focus is nutrition.
Wow. And what kind of protocols do you use to help women? Are you addressing the emotional part as well?
I have 4 basic pillars that I use to address all aspects of a client's life. There's the physical, the emotional, the spiritual, and the relational. Because we can't just try to tap into one and make changes and everything will work. Because if any one of those is out of balance, then we're out of balance. So if we focus on just nutrition, then you're really primarily focusing on the physical. And that's really not going to cut it for a lot of people because there's so much to our lives. We have that mental, emotional aspect that if something is in flux in our lives, it's going to keep us from either being committed to making those physical changes, or it's going to make us less likely to do it for a long term. And then spiritual is much more than just a religion or a faith. It really has to do with deep in ourselves, how we address ourselves as spiritual beings. And for a lot of people, they've not touched on that. And until they really are in tune, they don't really get that everything emanates from that inside. It's not all outside going in. It really is inside coming out. And relational really has to do with not only the person you're involved with, whether it's a spouse or some significant other, it has to do with our relationship to the world. We come in contact with so many different types of people in so many different situations. And if we aren't comfortable with ourselves, we don't bring the best to that situation. And that's what we always want to do.
Totally. And what is the first step that you take when someone comes to you?
We evaluate basically what their goals are. Mm-hmm. So someone may come to me for a variety of reasons, but I take a full health history, and I like to look at also blood work if it's for some reason other than, simple weight loss, which is not primarily what my clients come for, but ultimately they result in weight loss because they clear up other issues. So for example, I have clients, many of my clients are on the autoimmune spectrum. Like myself, I had fibromyalgia years ago and used a nutritional approach to reduce and get myself recovered from all those symptoms that I have. And I feel like I've completely reversed all those symptoms and all the negative reaction that my body was having to that autoimmunity. I do have celiac disease, so I do have an autoimmune condition, but I know how to control that. So when I see a client, I recognize in them some of the things that I went through. So I look at everything. Let's talk about what your goals are, what your health history is, what your family situation is, your work environment, and I put them all together in one complete package. And so we spend a very long time in our first session discussing all those things so I understand them as a complete person. It's not about a symptom or a single thing they want to do. It's how to bring their entire life back into balance.
Beautiful. And then you also re-educate them about foods and...
Absolutely. So as I said, my primary focus is nutrition. So we look at what are you eating? How is it supporting you? Are you getting the right nutrients for your biochemistry? Because everyone is unique. And in order to get the right nutrients, we have to go through what is working, what is not working. And it's a discovery process. And in that, there are sometimes people can't get enough nutrients because of something. It could be their body's not absorbing certain nutrients correctly, and we'll either use supplements, which I only use natural supplements, or we'll use essential oils because they're very quick to expand in your body and give you that all the components of the oils will then do whatever the magic is that oils do, because they each have their own unique components that give you certain health benefits. And again, that's a discovery process. What works best for each client?
Wonderful. Do you have them take the essential oils internally, or are they all externally?
That again depends. Now, I only use one specific brand because they can be ingested, the ones that are meant to be ingested. It's like I drink water all day long. As a matter of fact, I keep it with me all the time. And I use tangerine essential oil because it's uplifting to me. I feel it brightens my day just to have that oil in my water. Rather than, many people don't even like the taste of plain water. So it gives me that little extra boost. So yes, they do have some that are internal. And if it fits what the client's needs are, then yes, we'll have some that they ingest. I use this not only for myself and my husband, I use it for my animals too. So if I find that there's something that benefit them, then I use the oils with them.
Great. Yeah, I use it for myself too, for my family. So
yeah, there's just such a wide variety of things that you can use essential oils for, and because they are natural, meaning they are from nature. I don't mean the medical, the non-medical natural, where you can mean just about anything. They really are from the earth, and because of that, you get those components that only can come from nature. So for me, it's really important to use the highest quality.
Wonderful. Do you have specific supplements that you suggest specifically for weight loss, or is that all to the individual?
It is to the individual, but typically what I see is that people that come to me already are in a distressed situation. Their body is in dis-ease, meaning out of balance. Mm-hmm. And so the first thing I do is try to reestablish their gut. And most times I'll recommend a probiotic. And, again, that's custom to what types of probiotics they need for their gut. But a lot of times for people who come with weight issues, there are things like chromium that really helps with blood sugar regulation. And a lot of times it is just regulating your blood sugar, getting things back down, and not overtaxing the pancreas, pumping out insulin. So it really, again, depends on the individual, and that's why we do such a comprehensive health history with them.
Wonderful. Do you start with a gentle detox program with them as well?
I don't consider it a detox program. I consider it more of an elimination and replacement. Mm-hmm. Detoxes have come to mean certain things to people. When you say detox, they think they're either drinking smoothies or green drinks, or they're getting rid of all of this stuff. I like to look at it as, let's focus on what is working and what is not working. And so if after doing a health history and going through their food list, I'll say it looks like, based on the average, let's say, and there really isn't an average person because everybody's unique, but on average, there are things that people who have autoimmunity should not be ingesting. And, it could be dairy products, gluten, soy. They have negative responses, especially with an already compromised system. Mm-hmm. So I remove them, but we replace them with things that individual may need. So I don't look at it as detoxing, more that as a replacement type of diet.
And with the replacement, the natural detox, because if they're using constantly foods that are causing inflammation, and now they're replacing it with things that their body needs, naturally the body detoxes as well, which is wonderful.
Actually, that's absolutely true. It's a natural detox, but I don't like using the word detox, just like I don't like using the word diet. They have such negative connotations in our society now. You think of diet and you think of, what do I need to take out of what I'm eating? What do I need to restrict myself? And that's not how I like to do it with clients. I like them to feel like there's an abundance of things they can choose from, and they eat until they're satisfied, rather than deprivation and denying themselves.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's as simple as just bringing in a couple of healthy foods and just introducing that to their body, helping the digestive system that way, and before even eliminating. Because some of my clients specifically, they resist, especially if it's something that is too hard for them to do.
I try to think of them as simple swaps. And so let's swap this for that, whatever that may be. And for some people, that's easier for them to handle, that I'm not taking this out. And sometimes I also tell them, this may not be forever. Let's get you through this portion where your body is reacting negatively. And that negative reaction can result in different kinds of inflammatory processes. It could be joint pain. It could be upsets the digestive system. It could be any number of things. As get past that point, let's add in the stuff that we know that is going to help you and see where you feel like in 6 weeks or so. And at that time, then we might try adding something back in. It may or may not be okay at that point if your gut has calmed down, if the inflammation has passed. And it's all a matter of going through a discovery, a self-discovery.
Mm-hmm. Do you have them drink a specific amount of water a day?
I tend to tell them drink about half their body weight in ounces. That's just the normal recommendation.
Do you have them add lemon to it, maybe some pink salt?
That's where the essential oils come in fantastically, because there are certain essential oils that will help rev up the metabolism, that will help you. It'll help with your mood. It'll help with just your general well-being. So there may be a blend of oils that I might suggest, or just simply having a lemon oil, or even, in the morning, people who get up and drink like hot water, or not actually hot, but warm water with lemon in it, they can substitute a lemon oil and you're not using much less, probably a drop or two. And so you have this more concentrated lemon, which was really going to promote the digestive system.
How do you feel about coffee and people stimulating their bodies for weight loss with caffeine?
Well, there's two different things here. If a person is drinking coffee because they need the caffeine boost, then they have an addictive process going on, because caffeine is a drug. It's a psychoactive drug. If they're drinking coffee not for the caffeine, but for the flavor, and they could actually say, I can do without it, then that's not an issue, because there are so many good things in high quality coffee. There's antioxidants and there's other, things that are really good for you. But you have to determine what's the reason behind drinking the coffee. So we go through that again. That's that whole mental emotional process. People who are tied to that coffee cup in the morning may need to break that mental process and say, let's try something else, and then come back to coffee and see if we can get rid of that caffeine addiction and just make it a simple coffee for coffee's sake. If you like the flavor, if you like the quality that you're getting in it, that's great. But you have to examine the reasons behind coffee. I'm not opposed to coffee drinking. I'm opposed to caffeine addiction.
Mm-hmm. Right. I prefer in the morning having some green tea, some matcha.
Yeah, I drink tea, and I drink different kinds of tea, but I find it has less caffeine, and I don't need the caffeine in the morning to get me going. I find I like the warmth of it, but many days, especially in summer weather, I'd much rather get up and have a nice glass of water with an essential oil in it, because the oil will then give me that uplift. If I'm drinking a tangerine or a wild orange or a lemon, it's just so much brighter. It makes you start your day a little happier.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever tried the coffee substitutes like Dandy Blend, Cafix?
I've just never been tied to coffee, so I don't really, I know that there are brands out there that use things like chicory and other things to replace the coffee, and I recommend them to my clients. It's not a flavor that I not necessarily crave.
Right. Well, it's a good alternative for people who do have a coffee addiction and they like the coffee flavor. And some of them are good liver detoxifiers at the same time. So.
Yes, and that's why I say I offer them to my clients who have, the need to either have a coffee replacement, but it's just not my thing.
Do you recommend colonics at all, or enemas?
I find that a good colonic will help really detox the system internally for the right reason. There are people who have certain issues, certain concerns that may require really clearing out the entire colon. And I myself, on a regular basis, find that it's helpful, because if you have a spate of eating poorly, and sometimes we do, that really helps remove all that debris, because it can get backed up in the colon. Mm-hmm. So yes, I think it's a good thing. You can use it for a variety of reasons, but I don't think you should rely on it solely as a weight loss detoxification. I think it should be part of an ongoing overarching plan for keeping your body clean.
Mm-hmm. That's for sure. Yeah. And then, of course, supplement with some probiotics to get the good flora back in.
And making sure that your electrolytes aren't out of balance, because that can really do that. When you have a colon, it can really strip all those things out. So making sure that you are supplementing properly and not overdoing one or the other. So a monthly, or depending on your condition, let's say if you have something that you feel like you need that complete detox, or your body is prepared to do it on a regular basis. I think you need a healthy body to know what you need to do on a regular basis. Until you're healthy, you need to work with someone to get you to that point of how often is enough for you. But once you are, I think you just need to make sure you balance out, having the electrolytes, the probiotics, all those things back in balance.
Good. And how do you feel about green juices, also for detoxification and / weight loss, but it's more of balancing your pH, more getting the good nutrients in?
Right. So what I suggest in the beginning, for if I have a client that's not eating healthfully, and we want to get them on the smoothie train, so to speak,
Mm-hmm.
we might start with juicing, because that's stripping out all of the fiber, and it might be a little easier for them to digest.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I find early on. People say, I can't possibly drink all this stuff because it gives me, tummy rumblings or something. Well, if you're going to juice it, it's going to make it easier to get into the habit of drinking those vegetables and finding that balance of getting the right nutrients and detoxifying. But then I like to use smoothies more so, and I'm not talking about all the fruit stuff. I'm talking about all the greens and everything that goes in it, because then you're getting all the fiber with it, and you're not stripping them out as you do in juicing. So it's a gradual step again. You really need to understand what their bodies are ready for.
Mm-hmm. And do you incorporate stress reduction with your clients?
Absolutely. I mean, my program that I introduced to my clients is called Nutrition Prescription, and it's NEW. It's a new way of looking at nutrition. It's not just about food. It's about proper nutrition, yes, but it's also about sleeping well, de-stressing your body, getting the right amount of sunshine and vitamins and all the things that we're not doing on a regular basis because we've gotten into the situation that we're in. So it's looking at the entire life cycle of living a healthy life and not just eating well, because a lot of people can eat really well and still not feel great because they haven't done all the other things. They may have poor sleep. They may have undue stress. So all those things really add up. And that's not really the best way to have a healthy life. You need to put all of them together. And until we slow down, take a break, and look at that whole picture, that's when it all comes together.
Slowing down, that's a good one. We all need to slow down.
Yeah. And that's part of the reason why I went into studying hypnosis, because that's really just a deeper level of meditation. Mm-hmm. So it really puts you in the deep brain waves and allows you to take time, slow your body down, and hear your thoughts. Because really all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. And so you're really hearing those thoughts and taking them and internalizing them. And that's just an extra level that adds to the client being able to accomplish their goals.
Can you tell the audience a little bit more about hypnosis and what happens during hypnosis?
Well, hypnosis really is the process of creating new habits formed by these deep brain waves that you're taking in positive information. So where we do it in meditation, maybe affirmations, and so we hear these affirmations and we're saying that we're totally conscious. We're looking at, in hypnosis, at the unconscious and having the unconscious absorb them so it becomes part of our being. Rather than us thinking about them, they become a natural part of us.
That's beautiful. So you combine the food with the essential oils, the hypnosis, self-care, you cover the entire picture.
And I think it's important because we have been so focused for so long on one thing. Let's work on this one thing in our life. Well, that's great to start with. You have to start somewhere. So start with one thing and then add the layers until all the layers become the whole picture. It's like putting a puzzle together.
Right. Yes, it makes a big difference, especially when we do self-care, self-love first, and then start moving forward with that.
Well, self-love is the one thing that I think, self-love and self-care is the one thing that I think most women who come to me, because I would say most of these women are over 50, professionals, have families. They have spent so much time caring in one way or another, whether it's for their families, for their clients, for their businesses, and they come last. And so they've reached this point where they've burnt themselves out, whether it's physically, their body is now reacting with some sort of inflammation, or emotionally, any kind of response that their body gets. And so it's time to get refocused and say, you have to come first, because if you're not well enough, if you're not full enough, if you don't have that abundance of everything, you don't have any to give. You're really just giving away emptiness at that point. I think the younger generation is figuring that out. They're seeing, the older folks going through what they're going through, and they're saying, I don't want to do that. So they're opting out of traditional jobs. They want to be entrepreneurs. They want to make their own way, work as much as they want to work, but be themselves and be able to care for themselves. And we'll see how it pans out. I think it's a good idea to be really invested in yourself, but at the same time, how does that pan out for future generations, their children? I guess it's something we'll have to see.
Yes, we definitely will. I started putting a date with myself in my calendar at least once a week. Otherwise, I don't take care of myself.
That's exactly what I tell my clients to do. They'll say, oh, I don't have time for this. And I say, do you have time for these other things that they'll mention to me? I said, how do you know how to do them? He said, well, I put them in my calendar. I said, well, then you need to put that in your calendar. If you want a massage, put it in your calendar. If you, want to take a walk, put it in your calendar, because it will remind you and it becomes real. It's a real tangible thing then. I have to do this because I've said to myself, this is like my promise to myself. I'm going to go do that now at this time. And if you don't do it, then you're just robbing yourself of opportunities.
Yeah, that's for sure. Would you like to share anything about the free gift that you're offering to the audience?
Certainly. I have an ebook where we're bombarded by commercials about what healthy is, and people are so confused. And I always say, do not get your nutrition information from commercials. Their goal is to sell you whatever it is. It really has nothing to do with fact, because they can couch things in words that don't get them in trouble. But the truth is, things that are healthy may not be those things that they're promoting. So don't just buy into it. So I have an ebook that states even though these so-called healthy foods are out there, they may not be healthy for you. And you just go through it and it'll help you decide what types of things to really buy.
That's wonderful. Do you have ingredients listed in there as well?
They're broken down. Some are by ingredients, some are by product categories. So it's not, very specific. It's kind of an overview for people. And then I'm willing to speak with people who are interested in going more in depth with it.
Thank you so much, Angela.
Oh, you're most welcome.